It is a cold November evening. The guns of the Great War have fallen silent. The German Empire is in ruins, and the new socialist government of Bavaria is a flashpoint of chaos. Within this turbulent city, in a private suite at the luxurious Four Seasons Hotel, a secret gathering is taking place behind closed doors. To avoid unwanted attention, participants of this covert meeting slip through a servant's door on Marstallstrasse, a side street that lets them bypass the busy main lobby. Inside, the ambiance befits the hotel's opulence. High ceilings with electric chandeliers casting a warm glow, and heavy drapes muffling the sounds of the city. The society's presence is evident in the decor. Each room is adorned with sword and swastika insignia, freshly painted or hung by one of the members of the society, artist Arthur Greel. The overall effect is a curious blend of a plush gentleman's club and a clandestine mystic lodge, hidden in plain sight in one of Munich's finest hotels. By late 1918, the Thule Society's Munich roll listed roughly 150 to 200 members, although only a few dozen turn up at any one meeting. Many are middle-aged academics, businessmen, minor aristocrats like Prince Gustav von Thurnant-Taxis, and ex-officers still in smart civilian suits or military tunics, proudly wearing their war medals from the Great War. Scattered among them are younger students and war veterans. Karl Harrer, a sports journalist and full Thule member, often chairs the discussions. Dietrich Eckart occasionally drops in to give fiery lectures. Alfred Rosenberg, newly arrived in Munich, appears as a sympathizer. Only horror will ever sign the lodge roll. Women are rare, but not entirely absent. A handful of female Thule sisters participate in supporting roles. At a desk off to the side, Countess Heile von Westarp, an aristocratic young woman serving as the society's secretary, takes notes of the proceedings. All around, people address one another with quasi-Masonic fraternity, men as brother and women as sister. Most members wear a pin on their lapel or blouse bearing the Thule insignia. The men wear a bronze pin shaped as a swastika on a shield crossed by two spears. The women display a simpler gold swastika brooch. This badge, though small, marks their shared identity and commitment to the society's ideals. Despite the business-like appearance of the room, the atmosphere is thick with ritual and symbolism. The Thule Society styles itself as a secret order. Indeed, its official name is Thule Gesellschaft, Orden für Deutsche Art, the Order for German Kind. On the wall behind the speaker's dais is the Society's emblem, a swastika with a vertical bare sword, sometimes shown within a radiating sunwheel. On this evening, a membership initiation is on the agenda as the Society is rapidly expanding. The room falls silent as Rudolf von Sebottendorff, the Thule Society's founder, steps forward to commence the induction. Sebottendorff administers a sacred oath to the few nervous initiates standing before him. Each prospective member must take a pledge affirming the Aryan lineage required to become a member of Thule, vowing that no Jewish or colored blood flows in either my veins or my wife's. One by one, they approach Sebottendorff and solemnly promise loyalty to the cause of the Germanic race. This scene echoes the Society's founding ceremony just a few months prior. On the 18th of August, 30 new members, men and some women, were accepted ceremoniously into the Society. Now, as then, each initiate receives a round of applause and is presented with the Society's swastika pin, the insignia of their new brotherhood. Countess Westarp records their names in the ledger. These rites give the gathering an exclusive, occult-tinged character, an academic society meeting blended with a secret fraternal lodge. With formalities concluded, the meeting transitions into its intellectual program. The Thule Society began as a Germanic antiquity study group, and its early gatherings often resemble academic salons. Sebottendorff, or whoever the evening's chairman may be, introduces the featured speaker and topic. Every Saturday, a different lecture or presentation is scheduled, drawing in members eager for both enlightenment and networking. The subjects reflect the eclectic interests of this folkish occult circle. Some nights, the talk delves into ancient Aryan lore. A member might give a lecture on megalithic cultures and prehistoric Germanic monuments, relating Stonehenge-like sites to the wisdom of their Aryan ancestors. On another occasion, the discussion might turn to contemporary ideas like Oswald Spengler's recently published book, The Decline of the West, which has created a buzz in nationalist circles. There are also explicitly racial theoretical talks. One noted Thule member, the writer Rudolf von Sebottendorff, holds forth on the Aryan man, extolling the qualities of the Indo-Germanic race. On the 31st of August 1918, Sebottendorff himself delivered a lecture and hands-on lesson about the psychic properties of pendulums, swinging a crystal pendulum over a map to show how dowsing might locate invisible earth energies. According to Johannes Hering's diary, most members disliked the topic and thought occultism lured dubious people into the lodge. Sebottendorff himself later admitted that followers were little interested in his occultist theories. They were more interested in combating Jews and communists. At times, the society even partakes in quasi-ritual outings and observances beyond the hotel walls. During the autumn of 1918, members undertake excursions to rural sites, prehistoric ring wall earthworks that folkish writers called sun castles. Today, archaeologists classify these as Celtic hill forts near Bad Aibling in the Bavarian countryside. Thule members walk among old stone ruins and dense forests, convinced these places hold mystical significance. Such field trips strengthen the bonds among the society's members. They even mark pagan seasonal festivals, celebrating the solstice like a sacred holiday. At one solstice celebration, it is noted in the minutes that the society collected donations to help two of its own members who had fallen into poverty, an out-of-work actor and a retired schoolmaster who was a rune enthusiast. This mix of the spiritual and the charitable adds a human touch to the Thule ethos. Members are to take care of one another as comrades. In one corner of the meeting room, a table is stacked with freshly printed copies of the Münchener Beobachter, showcasing another Thule activity, publishing propaganda. Sebottendorff, eager to spread Thule's folkish message, had acquired a struggling Munich weekly newspaper in mid-1918 and refashioned it into the society's own organ. The Münchener Beobachter, the Munich Observer, serves as a mouthpiece for Thule's anti-Semitic and anti-Bolshevik ideas. Copies of the latest issue are handed out to members at the meeting, its pages containing hostile editorials railing against the Marxist threat and celebrating folkish ideals. It is not hard to imagine Karl Harrer, a Beobachter staff writer and Thule envoy, standing by to discuss an upcoming article or soliciting donations to keep the paper running. The members peruse the newspapers eagerly. In time, this very publication will evolve into the infamous Völkischer Beobachter, the official Nazi Party newspaper. However, in 1918, it is simply the Thule Society's weekly bulletin, fresh off the press and fueling conversations among those gathered. Although the Thule program advertised lectures on Germanic culture and occult lore, politics usually took center stage. Johannes Hering's diary shows socializing around strategy talks, fundraising, and lectures. Occult or cultural items were occasional sidebars, not the main attraction. The Thule Society's meeting room, for all its scholarly trappings, doubles as a clandestine headquarters for right-wing opposition to the new socialist government in Bavaria. In hushed side conversations, the members trade the latest news and rumors from the streets. The socialist Prime Minister Kurt Eisner has declared Bavaria a republic. Workers' councils are agitating in the city, and red revolutionary posters plaster the walls outside. Many Thule members are fiercely resentful of these developments. Their tone is militant and resentful, even as they sit in this genteel hotel setting. They strategize how to keep Bavaria German and crush the Bolshevik menace. Security is always a concern. 2 exit doors and a backstair entrance provide escape routes or secrecy during these volatile times. It is not unusual that some attendees are armed, a pistol tucked under a coat here or a dagger in a boot there. The atmosphere can be tense. Memories of street violence between rival political factions are fresh, and everyone knows their gathering would be a prime target if discovered by the Revolutionary Soldiers' Councils. In fact, the Thule Society explicitly instructs members to be cautious and maintain secrecy about their activities. They often use code names and cover terms, hence the title of Thule, a mythical land, as the group's public name. Outsiders are admitted only on a vetted guest basis. As the formal meeting winds down, the more politically minded members huddle in a corner of the room, lowering their voices to discuss actionable plans. Among them is Sebottendorff, who reminds the others of a daring plot he has been hatching. He intends to kidnap Kurt Eisner, the socialist prime minister, whose leadership he blames for Bavaria's chaos. In December 1918, this plan was in fact set in motion. Sebottendorff had quietly organized volunteers for the attempt, but his plot ultimately failed when Eisner changed his routine and eluded their grasp. Still, the very idea of it electrifies the men of this secret gathering. It shows the lengths to which Thule's inner circle is willing to go. Elsewhere in the room, conversations turn to organizing armed resistance. Several members are involved in the emerging Freikorps, paramilitary units of demobilized soldiers. They speak of secret weapons caches and secret liaisons with Reichswehr officers. By early 1919, under Sebottendorff's encouragement, the Society will form a dedicated Thule Guard, or militant group, a band of fighting men drawn from its ranks, ready to take up rifles against the Bavarian Soviet if it comes to that. Though in late 1918 this is still in planning, the determination and resolve is palpable. Many of these gentlemen will soon trade their formal jackets for uniforms and steel helmets when the call comes. The Four Seasons Hotel itself has become a meeting nexus for various counter-revolutionary contacts: monarchists, nationalist students, disaffected officers. Diaries and police files show a stream of right-wing visitors using the suite for plotting and courier work. The Thule Society's headquarters is effectively a nerve center of the anti-communist counter-revolution in Munich. A modern observer, could they be a fly on the wall, would sense they are witnessing the early stages of a brewing coup. As the meeting concludes and coats are fetched, a few members volunteer for a risky task: gathering intelligence on the revolutionaries. They arrange to rendezvous in a few days with Countess Westarp, who acts as liaison and hosts smaller gatherings. In the chaotic months that follow, events escalate dramatically. In April 1919, the short-lived Bavarian Soviet Republic will arrest several Thule Society members when it discovers its meeting place. The communists raid the Four Seasons on a tip, seizing documents and personnel. 7 Thule conspirators, including Countess Hyla von Westarp herself, are taken hostage and executed by a Red Guard firing squad on April 30th, 1919. The tragedy will send shockwaves through nationalist circles and turn these fallen Thulists into martyrs in the eyes of their comrades. But on this evening in late 1918, that grim fate is not yet known. The meeting adjourns, and members file out through the shadowy back entrance onto Marstallstrasse, disappearing into the darkness of a fog-filled night. Behind them, they leave swastika emblems, ceremonial swords, propaganda newspapers, and whispered conspiracies. Yet, these symbols and ideas will not remain confined to a private suite in the Four Seasons Hotel. The racial theories, the militant opposition to socialism, and the mythic conception of German destiny will be amplified and weaponized in the coming years. The fog that shrouds the conspirators will lift, but the darkness they have helped to conjure will one day soon engulf an entire continent.